Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall, but you may call me Dr. Kennard. Stories that we're covering today. Kent Hovind arrested. Yes, again. The MAGA card for MAGA losers. You can guess how much it costs, everyone. If we want to play a game and just guess how much a MAGA card from Donald J. Trump costs. Don't say it if you already know the number, right? So if you want to make a guess how much a Donald Trump MAGA card costs, throw it in the chat. 5 points to the winner. Cops versus COVID. That's a story. GOP versus COVID. That's also a story. Atheist Ireland and the newest Capitol possible riot coming down the chute. Another meeting of the minds of MAGA down at the Capitol. Yeah, they have a I don't know, some kind of proto riot planned, a gathering planned at the Capitol. We're going to be talking about that too. All right, $30 a month. That's a good guess. That's a good guess, Dr. Mordecai. I like the cut of your jib there. But no, let's do something funny, right? You want to do something funny? Let's do something funny. Oh, hey, I just hit the wrong button, everyone. Let's try this again. Let's do something funny.
My boss is always looking over my shoulder. It's hard to work in these conditions.
He has a cat for a boss. Well, that sounds like many of us here on the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. We have a cat for a boss. All right. Check out who's here, who's around, who's hanging out this morning. It's Friday, right? I don't know what y'all have planned for this weekend. My girlfriend, and my daughter, we're going up to a family reunion, which doesn't seem that important, except this is my biological family. I've only met my mom, 2 out of 3 of my brothers, and my sister. So there's going to be cousins and uncles and aunts and all that other groovy peoples up there on Saturday, driving 4 hours up, enjoying festivities, and then driving 4 hours back that same day, because that's just how we roll here. So, yeah, that's what my big plans are, at least on Saturday, and relaxing on Sunday. I am going to go on a show on Sunday at 1 p.m. Right to Reason. That sounds right. Going to be doing that at 1 p.m. on. I'll put all the links down, to tell you the truth, on the Facebook pages, so that in case you do want to pop in and see me spout nonsense on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, then you can. Tobin Templeman. What's up, Tobin? Trump card not accepted anywhere that's important. I would agree with that, Tesla Ranger. Grand Farmer. May, you are like Schrodinger's sleepyhead, Grand Farmer. That's what you are. Dee Parks, good morning. From your getting a corner office, Dee Parks. That's pretty impressive. Dr. Mordecai, good morning. John Hudson, always glad to see you here. Let's see, who else? Sean. Yes, Ken Hovind has been arrested again. Tesla Ranger, good morning, good morning. All right, I think Bonnie Enid, hello, and the girlfriend. It's so much creepy going on with Ken Hovind. Phil from Loch Ness, very nice, Phil Lister. I hope the weather is treating you well up there. And good morning, Lee, too. I want to say good morning to Lee. All right, so you want to do some memes? Let's do some memes. Let's check out what's going on in the meme verse. Oh, this is a good one. Something to warm us up. It's a crucifier, and there you go. You can handle Jesus's junk right there while you're frying up an egg. What an odd frying pan. And mind you, everyone, this is what, all right, public safety announcement, some public health stuff. If your frying pan looks like that, no, not with Jesus as a handle, but if your nonstick coating is all scraped up, throw it away. just throw it away. It's not safe to use. Alton Brown, I got this advice from Alton Brown years ago, is that when you store nonstick frying pans, you should have a cloth dish towel on the frying pan in case you're going to stack other things on top of it. That means you don't chip it. You don't scrape it with the other pans on top. I hope that makes sense, right? But that's what I do. That's what I do. Next meme. I hope the children we never had are grateful to us for not bringing them into this. Non-parenting is a thankless job. Oh, I wouldn't know, though. Sometimes I aspire to be a non-parent. Sometimes, but it's too late. 19 years too late. 19 years too late. My kids are great, to tell you the truth. Probably what's the best thing that's ever happened to me? Maybe having kids. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. It's a tough call this early in the morning. Last meme. Cat related? Maybe cat related. It's cat related. When dad catches you tripping balls in your spaceship at 4 a.m. What are you doing in there, cat? Cat's just like enjoying his own, the best life. Tripping balls in the dryer. That's what that cat's doing. All right. I'm sure everyone wants to know about Kent Hovind getting arrested. Jesus fried for your sins. I like that. Maybe sauteed, huh? All right. Yeah, those non-stick pans always bothered me, Dr. Mordecai. You have to treat them gingerly, right? You have to treat them gingerly. It's raining in Loch Ness. It's funny. I'm going to digress for a minute. I love telling this story. It was a Nova show, I believe, PBS science show Nova. And it was a team of engineers, scientists, and craftspeople trying to build a trebuchet. If you know what a trebuchet is, I guess it's a type of catapult. It slings big rocks. It was medieval artillery, basically. And the team was trying to build a trebuchet on the shores of Loch Ness. Now, what's the problem with building a trebuchet using only medieval techniques? I'm glad you asked. The fact that Loch Ness is rainy as all heck, and trying to build a giant wooden structure that's designed to throw large stones, difficult to do, impossible to do in the rain. Or at least that's what they found out. All right. It's raining in Scotland? I know, shocked, right? Who knew that toxic non-stick coatings that scrape loose would be dangerous? I have to tell you, when I think about the disaster, it's a big slingshot, that's right. When I think about how poorly people think, right? Now, let's face it, none of us are perfect thinkers, right? We have bad brains stitched together. It's a kludge, right? Evolution only does good enough to make sure that the genes get passed on to the next generation. So we don't have to have great brains. We just have to have good enough brains. But when I think about the poison running through our systems, right, in terms of anything from chippy non-stick coatings to pans and pots to lead water pipes, a lot of the really severe, extreme bad brains can be explained, I think, in part by that. Just like how the Romans poisoned themselves with lead paint, with lead dust in their wine. We're doing something similar to that. Okay, Andy, you're talking too much. Let's go to Kent. How can someone who looks so, kind of douchey, because if there was, and he has SpongeBob SquarePants right there, and I have to tell you, SpongeBob, he tarnishes, Ken Hovind tarnishes the good name of SpongeBob SquarePants, everyone. That's what he does. Who would have thought a guy that looks so creepy and a douchebag would be arrested for assaulting his wife? Who would have guessed that? Me. I would have. All right, here's the story. Alabama evangelist Ken Hovind arrested on domestic violence charge. Link is in the description, everyone. Ken Hovind, the Alabama evangelist and owner of Conaca County's Dinosaur Adventureland was arrested last Friday on a domestic violence charge against his wife, after his wife claimed the pastor body slammed her, according to court records filed Thursday. Hovind, who is known as Dr. Dino, and has nearly 155,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, allegedly injured his wife, Cindy Lincoln, by body slamming her, sending her to the ER in late 2020, according to an order of protection Lincoln filed July 19th against Hovind. He wants to shut me up, Lincoln wrote in explaining why she fears the evangelist. He is dependent upon public opinion for his livelihood. I fear he will kill me to shut me up. Lincoln also claimed Hovind sent his right-hand man to her rental property to threaten her, and that he trashed the property the next day. Hovind was arrested July 30th on third-degree domestic violence, records showed, and he was released from the Conecuh County Jail after posting $1,000 bond. SpongeBob SquarePants, how can you be seen with a man like that? SpongeBob should be rescued from Ken Hovind. That's all I'm saying. On his YouTube channel, Hovind proclaimed his innocence, saying that he was squeaky clean. We're going to come out squeaky clean, he said. There's nothing to be concerned about. Hovind spent 9 years in federal prison on financial-related offenses, including structuring bank withdrawals and failing to file tax returns. After his release, he opened Dinosaur Adventureland in Florida and another location in Conecuh County in 2018. The attraction promotes creationism and derides evolution as, wait for it, the dumbest religion in the world. Well, if this man tells you evolution is the dumbest man in the world, it has to be true, right? The man who has dinosaurs, the man who got arrested for body slamming his wife. Who would have guessed that? Who would have guessed? Lead is very sweet tasting, though, Grand Farmer. That's true. I know Tesla Ranger. I know. He's only being, yeah, okay, yeah. Next story, you want to do, oh, wait. Do you want to do cops? Before we get into MAGAville, I know that's the name of the video. We're going to be talking about the MAGA cards. Once again, we're running a little, whoever wins this gets 5 points. We're taking guesses on how much it costs to get a MAGA card. If you want to guess how much it takes to purchase or to obtain a MAGA card, then please put it in the chat. And this is what the MAGA card looks like, everyone. Well, you get 4 different versions, right? Yes, does the eagle look kind of National Socialist German Workers Party? Does it look kind of fascisty, Nazi-ish? Sure it does. So make a guess. Winner gets 5 points. All right. I think we're going to do cops versus COVID. How's that? It isn't just cops, but it's a jaunty little title for what we're about to look at. And what state is this from? What state are we going to be talking about? That's a very good question. Let's see. 3 first responders die from COVID-19. And the state, could it be Florida? It's Florida. Florida story. It seems like it's mandatory for us to do these Florida stories at least once a day because Florida is such a hive. Did I say a hive? I said a hive of just badness. Here it comes.
While talks continue on keeping kids safe and healthy in the classroom, there is another conversation happening right now on how to protect our first responders. In the last week, a Melbourne firefighter, a Port Orange police officer, and an Orange County Sheriff's deputy all died from COVID-19. News 6's Troy Campbell is live outside the Orange County Sheriff's office tonight, looking into COVID protocols on the front lines. Troy.
Yeah, so we contacted several law enforcement agencies all across Central Florida. Every single one that got back to us told us that they do not keep track between which officers have gotten a vaccine and which officers have not. This is Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is pointing out on social media just how deadly COVID-19 has become for officers. Posting on Twitter, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood sending his condolences to the family of Port Orange police officer Justin White. The 39-year-old had served 15 years for the agency and a father of 4 dying from COVID-19. Sheriff Chitwood then focusing attention to this website called the Officers Down Memorial Page, citing more than 300 officers dying from COVID-19 so far this year. Chitwood says COVID-19 is now the #1 leading cause of officer deaths in the line of duty. Port Orange Police reflecting on White's dedication to the community.
I need to remember him as a husband and a father, as a dedicated police officer, as one that gave selflessly during his career, working holidays, nights, serving the underserved.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office sending out this video showing fellow deputies escorting 54-year-old officer Craig Sejos' body out of the hospital yesterday. The nearly 30-year vet of the Sheriff's Office also passing away from COVID-19. News 6 asked several agencies whether there was a tracking system in place to account for officers and staff vaccinations. Of the agencies that responded, the Volusia, Sumter, and Osceola County Sheriff's Offices, along with both Orlando and the Port Orange Police Departments, say not only are COVID-19 vaccines not required, but none of them keep track of the officers who are. On Wednesday, the Melbourne Fire Department announced the death of 22-year veteran Scott Allender, also due to COVID-19. Orlando police also say right now they have 20 employees that have COVID-19. They say that includes 7 patrol officers. OPD adds they are encouraging for all of their employees to get a vaccine. We've also contacted the unions for all of the deputies here at the Sheriff's Office, and we'll let you know when we hear back. Live outside the Orange County Sheriff's Office tonight, Troy Campbell, getting results, News 6. Okay.
All right. If you saw me hitting buttons fervently while I was doing, I'm never really sure. I know I pushed the envelope on some of the stories, on some of the names of the videos, so I never know if I'm actually streaming or not. You know, doing this kind of starts making you paranoid, right? If when things don't go right, you're wondering whether or not you're getting yanked or plugged. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about a couple of cops, and unfortunately, a fireman who died from COVID. #1 cause of death now for cops in that county, COVID. Now, what's the over-under on this? What are the chances that these guys didn't get vaccinated? I would say, I would put money that all 3 guys didn't get vaccinated, because as we've seen, though you can have a breakthrough infection, I haven't heard of any deaths from a breakthrough infection if you're vaccinated. So I'm going to guess that the smart money is on all 3 of them not having been vaccinated. That's what I'm guessing. Well, that's okay. So you're saying exactly what I'm saying, Phil. Pretty sure that those dying are not vaccinated. Indeed. Indeed. I'm with you on that. And how much pressure is the government of Florida putting on people to get vaccinated? Not a whole lot. We know Governor Ron DeSantis, no mask mandate, preventing businesses from putting mask mandates on in Florida. It's crazy. So let's see. Someone guessed here in the chat, and I think it was a silly number. A silly number about the MAGA card. $1 million for a MAGA card. You'd have to have a super platinum MAGA card for that. For the garden variety MAGA card. Are we switching to a new story right now? My guess for the card is $1,200.62. And the schools as well. That's right, KCA Randy. All right. Well, it would be nice if the anti-vaxxers would just stay the hell away from the rest of us. It would be nice. I have to tell you, there's a lot of stories I see that I just don't have time to cram into this 55-minute or so, segment that we have here for the show. I was talking to my girlfriend, or the girlfriend as she is known, 1776. I like that, Scott Duke. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day. I said, well, doesn't it make sense? And tell me if I'm wrong on this, that if a virus is more virulent, if it's more transmissible, then what's required for herd immunity goes up, right? Because of everyday COVID, herd immunity would be, what, 80%, I think was the number thrown around. Then if the Delta is much more transmissible, doesn't that mean we need many more people to get vaccinated to achieve herd immunity? She goes, yeah, that's right, Andy. That is correct. And of course, this morning I saw a story about herd immunity, and I didn't have time to post it. I didn't have time to put it in the show, but I thought it would be worth talking about here, is that with Delta, the numbers that I've seen, to get herd immunity right now would be something like 90%. I'm starting to think the GOP is hungry for kids to die from COVID. Well, we know evangelical Christianity is a death cult. That's something that we've talked about many times on this channel. And there is going to be a segment after the break, GOP versus COVID, about a loudmouth Texas politician who is now dead from COVID just a few days after shooting his mouth off about how vaccines aren't great. COVID is anything to worry about. But I'm getting ahead of myself, everyone. I am digressing. That's what I'm doing. Let's talk about MAGA cards. MAGA cards. What do we got? All right, so here's the lovely, tacky, brash. You can get 4, any one of these 4. I suppose if you wanted to buy all 4 of them, you could. Link is in the description, everyone. Donald Trump wants his supporters to carry Trump cards. Donald Trump wants his supporters to carry Trump cards. Trump's PAC sent 2 emails on Wednesday asking supporters to get on board with carrying red and gold cards, which look like credit cards and bear the former president's signature. The card you select will be carried by patriots all around the country, the first email said. They will be a sign of your dedicated support to our movement to save America, and I'm putting my full trust in you. The Trump team said in a follow-up email, we're about to launch our official Trump cards, which will be reserved for President Trump's strongest, note the caps, all caps there. That means they're really serious, strongest supporters. We recently met with the president in his Florida office and showed him 4 designs, the email continued. Originally, we were planning on releasing just 1 design, but when President Trump saw the cards on his desk, he said, these are beautiful, all in caps again, just in case, Donald Trump, I'm surprised everything he says isn't in all caps. We should let the American people decide. They always know best. What's the operational definition of pandering? Saying that Americans know best? Maybe they do, because they did not elect you, former President Trump. The emails did not outline exactly what entitled one to carry a Trump card. Clicking on the link to vote for a design led to a fundraising page. The Trump team did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Insider. And now, ladies and gentlemen and small furry creatures from Alpha Centauri, here comes the price. The Trump card is the group's latest fundraising merchandise. In an email on July 26th, it announced it was selling signed photos of Trump for $45. So I don't know, actually. It makes you, are the cards $45? I originally read that and I thought the cards themselves were $45. But maybe not. Maybe I'll have to do some more exploration, because I get the impression that they're $45. Now I feel angered and confused. I thought they were $45 for the cards, to tell you the truth. Clockwork Rex. Hey, I haven't seen Clockwork Rex for a while. Now I have to Google how much. It's Friday. It's Friday, and maybe my brain's not working as well as it should. How much is a MAGA card? I'm going to Google that right now. I'm going to say it might be $45. And my internet's really slow on my iPad, and I don't know why that is, but it is. So I'm going to let that do its thing while we do what are we doing? We're going to do the halftime tummy rub show, everyone. That's what we're going to be doing. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. And if you can throw $1 or $2 in to help me continue my reign of chaos here, please do that also. Let's do something funny.
If you ask anti-vaxxers if they got the vaccination, some seem to think that asking that's a HIPAA violation. But unless you're a medical professional leaking private information, it's just a question they don't like, still legal as a publication. So in the spirit of trying to ban things that you don't like asked of you, here's some other things I think should be HIPAA violations too. How are you doing today? HIPAA violation. Is Pepsi okay? HIPAA violation. Is someone sitting here? HIPAA violation. Is music your career? HIPAA violation. What's your rising moon and sun? HIPAA violation. Have you seen Hamilton? HIPAA violation. That thing where the server says enjoy your meal and you say you too instead of saying thank you because they don't have a meal, you idiot. Just think for 3 seconds before you speak. HIPAA violation.
It's not a HIPAA violation. I guess that's the theme of that song. I guess it is. Tummy Rub Show. That's right, Cryptameria. That's right. All right, so what's the next thing that we're going to be doing? Blazing Wizard Pope for Covfefe. I'm going to drink some coffee right now. That was pretty funny, wasn't it, John Alexander? That was pretty good. All right, what's the next story we're doing? GOP versus COVID. We had cops versus COVID. We had cops versus COVID a couple of stories ago. Now we're going to be doing GOP versus COVID. I wonder who's going to win. The GOP, the Republican politician, or the deadly virus. I wonder who's going to win. Well, let's find out. Let's take a look. Here we go. Texas Republican leader dies of COVID-19 5 days after anti-vaccination post. I am shocked. Once again, the best way to get anti-vaxxers to get vaccinated is with stories like this. People within their own tribes suffering and dying from COVID. That is the best motivator to get Trumpers, MAGA people, Republicans getting vaccinated. A Texas Republican leader who was hospitalized with COVID-19 died Wednesday, just days after he shared a post on social media questioning the effectiveness of the coronavirus vaccine. The Galveston County Republican Party said in a Facebook post Wednesday morning that Scott Apley, a member of the state Republican Executive Committee and Dickinson City Council, had died. Mwah, mwah. While the party did not, it's Friday. I'm not going to pretend I have sympathy or empathy for these people. It isn't the fact. Everyday people. All right, everyone. If you're an everyday person, you've been brainwashed by evangelicals. I can understand that. I have a good measure of sympathy for those people. If you come from a crappy education system and you're brought up in this death cult, yes. But if you're a leader and you're getting other people not to get the vaccine, my sympathy is very thin. My empathy is very thin for you. While the party did not specify the cause of death, a GoFundMe page that had been set up for Apley and his family said he was admitted to a hospital Sunday with pneumonia-like symptoms and tested positive for COVID. So he had COVID. As of Thursday morning, the GoFundMe page had raised more than $30,000. Apley, 45, is survived by his wife, Melissa, who, according to the fundraising page, has also tested positive for the coronavirus, but has not been hospitalized, and their infant son. The county Republican Party said in its Facebook post that Apley's death was a tragedy. Yeah. And called on supporters to please pray for Melissa, Reed, and their family. God remains in control, although this is yet another tough one to swallow, the organization added. Did you notice that the county Republican Party didn't say things like maybe you should go get your miserable ass vaccinated, maybe you should go get vaccinated, maybe this is a lesson in artificial selection that you should be getting vaccinated? Apley, who was elected to the Dickinson City Council in November after a failed 2019 bid, had shared a post on Facebook just 2 days before he was hospitalized that appeared to question the credibility and effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine. In 6 months, we've gone from the vax ending the pandemic to you can still get COVID even if vaxxed, to you can pass COVID on to others even if vaxxed, the post read in part. It's as if people don't understand changing your opinion as new data arises. But wait, there's more, and it gets worse. Apley had also previously vocalized his opposition to vaccinations and mask mandates, and in May shared a flyer for a mask burning event. Yes, he shared a flyer for a mask burning event, and now he's dead. And now he is dead in the ground. Am I crying for him? No. Do I feel bad for his child? Yes. What about his wife? I don't know. I'm thinking she was an accessory to the crime. You know, if you have children and you're not vaccinated, you know, what kind of idiots are you? Not only are you taking your own life in your hands, not only are you taking your neighbors, people with impaired immune systems, but you're also risking your kids too. Scumbags. I am not crying for him, Argentina. I am not. Well, Cryptameria. All right. So I've had this conversation with a couple of my friends, and this is where I'm thinking about artificial selection, because it's how it's defined, right? It's all in the definitions. It's artificial selection when there's human agency, right? When there's human agency involved in the adaptation, in the adaptive process, then it's artificial selection. So I'm going to go with artificial selection, though I am open-minded on maybe changing my mind on this, right? But I do think, for me, I believe right here and right now, it's artificial selection. Well, this is it, KCA, Randy. They want to own the libs more than protect their kids. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, that's appropriate, I think. Let's see what else is going on here in the chat. I need to catch up with the chat just to make sure. Oh, wow. I did not notice it. Note that one of the Trump cards has official misspelled on it. Oh, my fictitious God. Now I'm going to have to look back. Am I going to look back at the MAGA cards to see if official is really misspelled? Oh, man, I'm just taking up too much time with this, I think, everyone. I'm just taking up too much time. So we covered cops versus COVID, dead cops, GOP versus COVID, dead Republican politician. Because that's what happens when you're unvaccinated, right? All right. We have another big atheist story that I want to cover that you may find interesting. This is from a blog on Pathos Non-Religious. The link is in the description below. And yeah, I'm covering a lot. I'm covering a lot of stories, but you know that's to be expected, right? That is to be expected. Covering a lot of stories. Ireland argues religious oaths are necessary for public safety. That is the government of the Republic of Ireland, and they're arguing that religious oaths are necessary for public safety, because you know what happens when you don't have religious oaths. The whole system falls apart, right? There's murder and killing and people, you know, bad things happening. This is a real story too. This is a real story. Here it comes, everyone. In a blistering letter to the Irish Times, Atheist Ireland has described as ridiculous The government's insistent that religious oaths are necessary in a democratic society in the interest of public safety, for the protection of public order, health, and morals, or for the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. Let's take a look at what Atheist Ireland had to say. Yes, next panel. AIs. Atheist Ireland's chairman, Michael Nugent, and its human rights officer, Jane Donnelly, said in the letter published this week that the public safety card was played by the government in response to a challenge mounted against such oaths at the European Court of Human Rights. And they asked, is this how the government of a republic treats its citizens? How does this vindicate the right of freedom of conscience and equality above the law, before the law? How can, I'm not going to try to pronounce this, how can these political parties, the Green Party and the other two parties, actively promote overt religious discrimination? Shame on you, Green Party of Ireland. Shame on you. Atheist Ireland raised this issue with the United Nations Human Rights Committee in 2014, and the Human Rights Committee concluded that the state party should take concrete steps to amend Articles 12, 31, and 34 of the Constitution that require religious oaths to take up senior office positions, taking into account the committee's general comment number 22 concerning the right not to be compelled to reveal one's thoughts or adherence to a religion or in public. So some public officials have to take a religious oath to be in that office. The government is furious that Rosen, I don't know, I'm going to short haul. The Social Democrats co-leader and 4 other public figures have gone to the European Court of Human Rights to challenge the constitutional requirement that the President of Ireland and members of the Council of State, a body that advises the President, must swear an oath in the presence of Almighty God when taking up their roles. 5 argue that the oath excludes conscientious non-Christians and non-believers from some of the most senior public positions in the state, unless they are willing to publicly declare and subscribe a formula which goes against their conscience. And so basically, Atheist Ireland is putting the fire to the feet of the Irish government to try to get them to change the law. This is the letter from Atheist Ireland. The letter concludes, the European Court of Human Rights has consistently found that the state cannot oblige you to disclose your religion or beliefs, nor can it oblige you to act in such a way that it is possible to conclude that you hold or do not hold religious beliefs. That is intervening in the sphere of your freedom of conscience. We have removed the law against blasphemy. That is one step towards a secular state that respects equally everyone's right to freedom of conscience. Removing these anachronistic religious oaths from our Constitution is the next step. Do I get an godless amen? Godless amen. Godless amen. Good job, Atheist Ireland, for trying to get rid of religious oaths in the Irish Republic. Checking out the chat. That's what I'm doing. Let's see. Interesting point. Aren't all Irish parties green? Let's see. All right. I think I'm caught up. I never met an atheist in jail. That's interesting, John Hudson. Well, we know the statistics, right? There's a lot of religious people in jail. And I'm going to guess, and this is just a guess on my part, that people become more religious in jail, don't they? Because we know that the more miserable a condition a person lives in, the greater chance they are to become religious. So yeah, I'm guessing that if you weren't religious going into jail, or if you were kind of religious going into jail, you become more religious. All right. They just tried to charge Stephen Fry with blasphemy in 2019. I believe that is a story that I read. I believe that's true, KCA Randy. Of course, the blasphemy law is now gone in Ireland. And this is just another, as the letter from Atheist Ireland states, another piece of anachronistic legal procedures that needs to be gotten rid of. All right, so Andrew Cuomo. Are we going to talk about Andrew Cuomo? Awkward transition to Andrew Cuomo. Is he going to be impeached? To live is to hope, everyone. To live is to hope. Impeachment looms for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. We're going to be taking a look at that video right here.
The walls are closing in on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo after that scathing report alleging a pattern of sexual harassment. The state assembly is now weighing his impeachment, saying their investigation is nearing completion as 5 district attorneys are now eyeing possible criminal investigations. And now one of his accusers is planning to file a civil suit as well. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, New York legislators putting Governor Andrew Cuomo on notice as they wrap up their impeachment probe. The state's Judiciary Committee giving Cuomo's counsel another week to turn in additional evidence, noting the assembly will soon consider potential articles of impeachment. The governor under fire for his handling of nursing homes during the pandemic, his book deal, and now those searing allegations of sexual harassment against 11 women. Cuomo maintaining his innocence throughout, but support even from his closest allies evaporating.
I began the process of trying to talk him into resignation, seeing that resignation was the best course of action.
And Cuomo now facing an impending civil suit from his first accuser, Lindsey Boylan, who claims he and staff leaked personal information about her after she accused him publicly of harassment, including kissing her on the lips.
There was an entire conspiracy to diminish her and to hurt her credibility.
The state's independent report backing Boylan's claim, but today the governor's lawyers saying the finding was legally and factually wrong. Investigators say a state trooper assigned to the governor's personal security detail also feared retaliation if she reported what she described as a series of flirtatious and creepy encounters with Cuomo.
She was standing holding the door open for the governor. As he passed, he took his open hand and ran it across her stomach from her belly button to the hip where she keeps her gun.
And Ariel joins us live tonight from outside the governor's New York City office. Ariel, we're hearing that Cuomo...
All right. We've seen enough. I've heard, I was listening to NPR the other day while I was in the car, that if Cuomo does get impeached then in New York State, then that means he will not be able to get or have another political position. He won't become an elected official ever again. Banned for life. So there is some incentive for him to quit and maybe try to rejuvenate his career in like 5 or 10 years down the pike. Possibly. So there are pressures on him, and there's also incentives for him to quit. Grand Farmer says, I heard Andrew Cuomo is going to become a Republican, according to a reputable news source. That would be Pathos Non-Religious. That might have been my blog, my satirical blog, laughing in disbelief that Andrew Cuomo has decided to become a Republican. And the Republican Party just looks at him as like, you're the kind of guy we want. Of course, it's satirical and even funny at the same time. Dare I say? So yeah, let's hope he resigns pretty soon, right? Let's hope he resigns. You know, I was hearing some of the stories from the women, and you know, one of the things I made sure with my kids is that both of my kids, they know how to fight. You know, they're both brought up both went to it wasn't mixed martial arts, but it was a type of martial arts, which, well, it was a mixed martial arts studio. That was the training. It wasn't a hardcore one. There wasn't like, you know, physical beating, you know, physical fights. It was all touch sparring. But, you know, both my kids know how to fight. I would hope that either one of my kids, if they ever get touched inappropriately, that they would just slug the person. You know, because I'm not saying that physical violence is always the answer, but sometimes it's the answer. And in cases like that, it shouldn't be taken off the table from the menu of responses. Hey, what's up, Theo? Well, when should we expect his resignation? You know, I would expect that if Cuomo was going to resign, it would be before they start drawing up, the letters of impeachment. That's what my guess would be. Might be over the weekend during a slow news cycle. People like to drop news, unpopular news, on Friday afternoons, maybe on Saturday when everything's kind of sleepy. Well, Blazing, thank you for the kind words. I think Andy's news, however satirical, rank about 20% higher in truthfulness than Breitbart. Indeed, Blazing. That's what satire does, right? We tell lies to reveal the truth, right? And to get a couple of laughs too. Do we have a last story? Oh, the Capitol. The Capitol. Is there going to be another riot? We're going back to the Capitol. Ex-Trump campaign official announces huge protest. This is from the HuffPo. I don't think I had time to put the link in the description, everyone, this morning, because I saw the story this morning and it's like, oh man, I gotta add this to the show today. And thankfully I have time to talk about it. Here we go. Former data chief for Donald Trump's 2016 has announced a protest next month at the nation's capital to rail on behalf of so-called political prisoners. I'm going to cough for a minute. You going to give me a break? I'm sorry about that, everyone. To rail on behalf of so-called political prisoners charged in the January 6th insurrection. We're going back to the Capitol right where it started, and it's going to be huge. Matt Braynard told former White House strategist Steve Bannon as he announced the rally on Bannon's podcast last week. The protest, Justice for J6, has been set for September 18th at the Capitol. It's being orchestrated by the group Look Ahead America, headed by Brainerd. September 18th. Put it on your calendars. Or not. Just make sure you're not around the Capitol. If you're going to be around Washington, D.C. As we continue to raise the profiles of these individuals who have been arrested, it makes it harder and harder for the left's phony narrative about the insurrection to stick, Brainard told Bannon. We're going to push back on the phony narrative that there was an insurrection, despite multiple dramatic videos of scenes to the contrary. Brainard told Bannon the crowd that day was largely peaceful and egged on, in many cases, by the Capitol Police. And here's the peaceful, if you forget what peaceful protests look like, this is what he's trying to sell us as a peaceful protest. He has already obtained permission for the rally from the Metropolitan Police Department, pending final checks the day of the protest. The MPD spokesperson would not confirm to HuffPost that a permit had been approved. A Capitol Police spokesperson said the department is aware of the rally but cannot discuss a permit or security plans. The rally is planned for the west lawn of the Capitol, where protesters moved on the building after Trump told them to go there and fight much harder. Brainard told HuffPo the rally is only in support of nonviolent Capitol protesters. That includes Ashley Babbitt, who crawled through the broken window and a barricaded door to get to members of Congress. As a mob of rioters yelled, "Let's go," and "Fuck the blue," a Capitol Police officer warned Babbitt to stop before he finally shot her. Yes, so when's the day? It's September 18th. It's September 18th at the Capitol, everyone. More craziness. I will imagine that there'll be less of a crowd there, and I'll imagine that the police will actually be there in force. That's what my guess is. Yes, John Hudson, what you said, what you just said right there. Cryptameria says it was an insurrection. How are people this evil to deny it? There's no bottom to evil, Cryptameria. There, unfortunately, if anything, from the MAGA crowd and how they're behaving, there is no bottom to evil. And they call themselves bleeping patriots. There's nothing patriotic about it. That's right. That's right. Peaceful. Yeah, peaceful. Cat the Humanist, glad to see that you're here, Cat the Humanist. Well, is it going to be another Capitol storm? Well, like I said, I think that the police will be there in force. They'll know what to expect. I'm sure there's been more security provisions. What will be interesting to see is whether or not Donald J. Trump, Citizen Trump, will be asking people to show up for this protest on September 18th. That's what we'll be interested in. Will he ask people to show up? Probably. I don't think he can not mention it. It's in his character, in his wretched, corrupt character, for him to ask people to show up. Because his whole thing is to keep his base activated and energized. All right. I think I covered everything. And oh, my fictitious God, we covered so much today. Kent Hovind arrested for body slamming his wife. Cops versus COVID. COVID wins. GOP versus COVID. COVID wins. Of course, they're all unvaccinated. That's why COVID wins. The MAGA card. Yeah, you can get fleeced by Donald Trump by giving him money for an official MAGA card. A card-carrying MAGA member. Atheist Ireland takes the government, puts fire to the feet of the Republic of Ireland to get rid of religious oaths. And, of course, the September 18th festivities, the protest that's coming up on September 18th. That's everything that we've covered, and it's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy 50 minutes. There's an after party, after show afterwards, everyone. It's an open room. If you're an atheist, if you're a progressive, if you're a humanist, if you want to pop in, link is, if you want to be on the panel, the link is in the description below. Let's do something funny and close out.
Everyone says when you snooze, you lose. But I always say, when you snooze, you win. I'm a snoozing machine. I like to sleep in.
That doesn't put a smile on your face. I don't know what will, everyone. I don't know what will. Yes, Tesla Ranger. The guy has the person reporting on Kent Hovind has the documents archived. Indeed. All right. So thanks for showing up, everyone. Like I said, it's been a crazy week in the news cycle, but that's what we're here for, to understand crazy, try to mitigate crazy, try to see what's coming down the road about crazy. So I'll see you at 10 o'clock if you're going to be checking out the after party, after show. If not, I'll see you on Monday. Excuse me. Maybe over the weekend. Got all kinds of crazy stuff going on over the weekend. I'm on Robert Stanley's show, Right to Reason. That's the name of the show, Right to Reason. I'll throw links on the... Oh, I should also talk about Atheist Comedy Burrito is in the Trouble Bubble. That's my Facebook group, our Facebook group, Comedy Atheist Burrito, Atheist Comedy Burrito. It's one of those names, everyone. And I had another piece of content taken down by Facebook. And we'll see how long the Facebook page lasts for. Hopefully, Atheist Comedy Burrito. So hopefully Facebook won't ban the Facebook group. It already has 5,800 members to it. But it wouldn't be the first atheist group Facebook banned. So we'll see what happens. Take care, everyone. I'm going to throw the thank you video for members and patrons. I should ask people for donations more often. Microphone. I know. I should do a lot of things more. Microphone. But thank you, video. Here it comes.